Welcome back everyone, it's Charlie. This is going to be my new Black Panther 2 video. Marvel finally confirmed some big teasers for Marvel Phase 4 Black Panther story, and a lot of you have been asking me to talk about what's going on with Chadwick Boseman. There have been a lot of rumors flying around, so I will address that too. If you're new to the channel, be sure to subscribe to get all the videos. We're doing an Amazon giveaway. All you have to do to enter is be a subscriber and leave all your predictions for Black Panther 2 on the video. Surprisingly, it's one of the few movies that Marvel has not shifted around. It's still coming out May 2022. That has not changed. Just going down the list, starting with number 5. Recently, the comic book people have been doing a big Marvel rewatch party for all the Marvel movies. When they got to Avengers Endgame, the writers of the movie, Marcus and McFeely, confirmed that this scene from Avengers Endgame was intended to be a big Namor teaser for Marvel Phase 4.
Reading on those tremors?
It was a mild subduction under the African plate.
Do we have a visual? How are we handling it?
Net. It's an earthquake under the ocean. We handle it by not handling it.
I think most of us saw that scene in theaters last year, and that was the first thing we all thought. Underwater earthquake off the coast of Africa, what could that possibly be? Your brain suddenly remembers Nick Fury's map from the end of Iron Man 2, that ending scene, with all the points of interest around the world for big Easter eggs. There was a marker right off the coast of Africa near Wakanda, smack dab in the middle of the Atlantic Ocean, and you think Atlantis, Namor, hell yes. Here's the funny thing too, right after Avengers Endgame came out in theaters in 2019, everyone was freaking out about Namor debuting during Marvel Phase 4 and just assumed that he would show up in Black Panther 2, because it was Okoye who was talking about it. Why else would you write lines of dialogue teasing Namor for a Wakandan character if Namor wasn't going to show up in Wakanda at some point? But while everyone was pounding the Russo brothers for answers to a bunch of questions, Easter eggs, what are they trying to set up with some of these scenes? Is Iron Man really dead? Is Black Widow really dead? So when everyone asked the Russos specifically about Namor and Black Panther 2, talking about this scene, this was their initial response. They said, some people may quote-unquote interpret it that way, that it's a Namor teaser, and then they go on to say, but it could also just be an earthquake. They try to play it off like they didn't want to confirm or deny anything. But separately, back in 2018, after the first Black Panther movie, Kevin Feige confirmed that they were trying to figure out what they wanted to do with the Namor character, but he was talking about it at a special screening of the first Black Panther movie. Why would Kevin Feige be talking about Namor during 2018 before Avengers Endgame at a screening of the first Black Panther movie, unless they'd always considered introducing Namor through the Black Panther movies? So 3, the reason why it's important that they're setting Namor up this way with this type of Easter egg in this context with this underwater earthquake that Okoye seemingly doesn't care about at all. Why would we worry about it? It's an underwater earthquake. We handle it by not doing anything. That provides some clear motivation for Namor to hate Wakanda. So in the comics, they have a long-standing rivalry. They both raided each other's territories. The Wakandans have sacked Atlantis. Then later in the comics, Namor got a portion of the Phoenix Force and used its power to get revenge on the Wakandans by almost burying it in the ocean. But when it comes to the MCU movies, there has to be a very relatable and explainable reason for Namor to want to hate Wakanda. Why would he want to attack Wakanda? Well, maybe it's because during this period, Wakanda didn't give them any aid, and they're basically the most powerful force in the region, if not the world. Because of their special technology and their special shield, Wakanda is the most defensible country in the world. There's this whole ongoing storyline about guilt, about things they've done in the past or haven't done. Black Panther had to deal with that during the first movie. The guilt that his father had passed on to him for what he'd done to his brother because his brother wanted to help the Black Panther movement in the United States. All these people around the world, they could use our technology to live a better life. But because up to that point, Wakandans had been so isolationist and Black Panther's father had upheld that tradition, it became a big problem that bit them in the ass almost literally in the future. So the fact that after the snap, Wakanda became a little more isolationist because they lost so many people, including Black Panther himself, it would make sense that them not lending aid to Atlantis and Namor during that period after the snap would bite them in the ass again during Black Panther 2 somehow. But after all this, I do think it's kind of funny that right after Endgame came out, the Russos were like, it could be Namor, could be nothing, could just be an underwater earthquake. And then cut to like a couple weeks ago and the writers were like, no, it was definitely a Namor teaser. We were definitely setting that up. Part of the reason why people at Marvel do stuff like that, where one person will say one thing and then another producer will say something completely different, is because when Avengers Endgame was coming out in theaters, Ryan Coogler had not started to write the Black Panther 2 movie yet, so they probably just didn't want to paint him into a corner in case he changed his mind and didn't want to use Namor in the movie. That's why they say planting seeds, sometimes they grow into things. So just because the writers of Avengers Endgame wanted to tease Namor in Black Panther 2 doesn't necessarily confirm that he will show up during Black Panther 2. All these things Kevin Feige talking about Namor just strongly suggest that they're trying to find a way to bring Namor into the MCU. So number 2, what about other X-Men characters like Storm? What about Doctor Doom or the Fantastic Four characters? There have been all kinds of rumors about X-Men showing up during Black Panther 2 in some way. The very first place the Black Panther was ever introduced in the comics was in the Fantastic Four comics. Black Panther 2 isn't going to drop till Marvel Phase 5. That's kind of when we're expecting big X-Men characters to show up, big Fantastic Four characters. As much as I would love to see Storm show up in Black Panther 2, I think it'd be kind of hard to include so many new big characters in the same movie. So I feel like you either do Namor as the antagonist and you focus mostly on him and the Atlanteans and that relationship, or you swap him out for someone like Storm, who's kind of an antagonist for the same type of reasons. She's also a princess of her tribe in Africa. She grew up on the western coast of Africa on the other side of Wakanda. So you could also get into a lot of the guilt, isolationism problems that Wakanda had in the past. Maybe a lot of people died after Infinity War in her tribe. Wakanda also did not lend aid to them. That would be another reason for Storm to hate Black Panther at the beginning of the movie. And if we're talking about Doctor Doom, because there have been rumors that they were considering Doctor Doom as a villain for Black Panther 2, even though I think that's kind of a long shot, there have been many times in the comics when Doctor Doom has tried to conquer Wakanda to take its vibranium. Everybody wants that sweet vibranium honey. Even before he died, Iron Man would have loved to get his hands on some more vibranium.
Canada, Wakanda.
I thought your father said he got the last of it.
I don't follow what comes out of Wakanda.
The strongest metal on Earth.
So part of the logic in waiting 4 years to do Black Panther 2 is just to give them time to figure out how to integrate all these big new X-Men and Fantastic Four characters, and mutants, because technically Namor isn't really an X-Men character. The really cool thing about Namor, though, is that he is called the first mutant, because technically he debuted in the comics before the X-Men characters. So even though he's not an X-Men, he is technically the very first mutant in Marvel Comics. And speaking of mutants in the MCU, there's a new rumor that the WandaVision TV series is actually going to debut before the Falcon and Winter Soldier series, just because it's moving along through post-production faster. I've already done a Scarlet Witch WandaVision trailer video with X-Men Easter eggs that they're introducing during that series, so if we get any more footage anytime soon, then of course I'll do another one. In number 1 WTF, I know everyone's asking, what's the deal with Chadwick Boseman? Not that long ago, he posted a video looking like he'd been starving himself. He almost looked like he was sick, and it hadn't been that long since Avengers Endgame came out, so this is what he looked like in Avengers Endgame. This is what he looked like in that video. The video that he posted didn't reference any projects that he was working on or any potential movies, but I think a lot of people just worried about what was going on. And then there were rumors that he might be leaving the franchise, he wasn't happy with Marvel, but those are just rumors. I really don't think that anything that big is going on, and he's probably just lost weight for another role that he was preparing for. The reason why we probably haven't heard about that is because of the virus delaying everything, and they're not going to be filming Black Panther 2 for a long time anyway, so he would bulk up again for Black Panther 2. It's not like he's going to show up at the beginning of Black Panther 2 looking like this. And you have to remember that he's not that huge of a dude naturally, he's already pretty slim. This is a behind-the-scenes video of him training for some of those fight scenes for Black Panther with no special effects, nothing is tuned up, this is just what he looks like on a normal day. So even though it is weird to see him like this, don't freak out too much. It's probably completely unrelated from what's happening behind the scenes at Marvel. But if we get any other news about what's going on with Marvel Phase 4 or Marvel Phase 5 movies, Black Panther 2, of course I'll do a video. Everybody just wants to know when we're going to start seeing really big X-Men, really big Fantastic Four characters. Congratulations to the giveaway winner from my last big Marvel video, Seth Hogan. Please email me on the About page of my channel so I can get your details. Everyone click here for my new Deadpool 3 Ryan Reynolds clip breakdown, and click here for my brand new Rick and Morty Season 4 Episode 7 video. Thank you so much for watching, everyone stay safe, Wakanda forever.